Hardcore Henry is a Russian-American sci-fi action film that is shot entirely in first person. The film is about Henry, who wakes up in a laboratory with no memory and finds out he is missing limbs and they are being replaced with cybernetic ones. The rest of the movie is basically an action-packed video game-like experience with Henry trying to defeat the evil corporation called Aiken. I was actually pretty excited for this movie when I first heard about it because it's very unique. I don't think I've ever heard about a movie being shot entirely in the first person. So I was also very curious as to how they're going to be able to hold the audience's attention throughout the film. Overall, I enjoyed this movie. I definitely have some issues with it, which I'll talk about later, but overall, this is a non-stop action-packed film, and it's a lot of fun. And the whole first-person thing I liked for the most part, and I thought the story flowed pretty well, all things considering. And what I really liked about this concept is that the audience learned everything as Henry did, and you went through the entire ride with him. I thought with a movie being shot this way that it would get boring and stale at times, but no, it keeps your attention the entire time. And a big reason for that is, like I said, this movie is non-stop action, and the action in it is great, and the stunts that they were able to pull were incredible. And there was this one scene where he's going through rooms like this, and it reminded me of playing old James Bond games with my brother when I was younger, and he even breathes heavily at times, which if I do recall when your player got weak, they did that too. So watching that part was very nostalgic for me. And what I also liked is how Henry, even though he is basically a robot, he still has limitations in his learning things, and at times he is vulnerable and needs help. And that is key for any great action hero. Also, in case you haven't seen the trailers, this movie is very gory. Like, right from the opening credits, you know what you're getting into. So if you have a weak stomach, I would suggest you skip this one. And the humor in this film is great. A lot of it goes to Henry's friend Jimmy, who is my favorite character, and it fits really well with this movie because this is not a super serious action film. And the soundtrack for this movie is great. It definitely elevates some of the scenes, and what I also liked about it is that it has quite a few different genres in it. One of my biggest issues with this movie is when you're watching it, you have a lot of questions, but because there is basically no downtime, a lot of them don't get answered. So for me, it was very frustrating, and I suggest to you, if you have not seen the movie, when you watch it, just shut your brain off completely and do not think logically. Also, this story has no meat to it. It uses the most basic plot and the characters have no development and you don't get very much background for them either. And again, that's because the plot just keeps going. It is action after action after action and there is no time to breathe. And I know they're trying to be like a video game, but this is not a video game. It's a movie. And when the action scenes happen, you need to care about the characters so you can fully get invested in the story. And Henry's friend Jimmy does get some background and is definitely warranted for his character and gives him the most depth. And there is this one scene with Jimmy and Henry where they try to slow things down and give us information. But right in the middle of it, they go with action again. Even though I really like Jimmy, the only reason he is in this movie is to help Henry and give him missions. As soon as Henry would finish something, he'd get a text from Jimmy saying, "Hey, can you go to this location? Follow these dots." I also did not like the villain in this movie. He had no motivation, just your standard villain who wants to take over the world. And again, a big reason for that is because we had no downtime to learn about him. And I also found that he would conveniently show up whenever the story needed him to. Overall, I enjoyed this movie. Yeah, I did have a lot of issues with it, but I mean, what they were going for, a fun action-packed adventure, for the most part, they succeeded. I'm going to give Hardcore Henry a B-. If you have seen the movie, let me know what you thought in the comments. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, or you can just click right here to see more.